How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for asking me in.
Good. Well, I'm really excited to talk to you about your book. So tell us, what is it about in a nutshell?
Well, it's a book about how we're working on creating a healthy planet and a healthy society, except that it says that most of the ways people are going about it will not get us there and not get us there in time. So it's providing stories, case histories of real companies, Fortune 500 down to small ones like seventh generation consumer products like Colgate, all the way over to people like Intel and Agilent and high-tech businesses, and how it is you really do create vitality, viability, and health for systems.
And tell us one of those stories about one of those companies.
Well, let's see. I think the one people love hearing the most, so we'll start with that, is out of South Africa. So 2 years before the elections and a year afterward, you can imagine the chaos there. Colgate wasn't sure they could keep that facility open. They sent Stelios Sasos, who was the general manager, and said, go figure this out. You know, we may not can stay there. Stelios got there and he said, wow, this is, if we close this, we're closing down 6,000 jobs, because that included distributors and suppliers who would have been totally impacted. But it was an unsafe environment. And so what he did is started building the skills for people to think as business people. I call them critical thinking skills, but how as you think in the same way, the CEO is sitting in a chair and has to think about everything. As a result of that, people ended up leading initiatives. For example, Isaac Michiel, who was a detergent tower operator, said, I want to make a promise to do something for the health of the children who, don't live very long and they're very unhealthy while they do, and start with my township, Soweto. He worked with dentists. He worked with Colgate's toothpaste. He built economic development through having the women who were respected in the community work with the dentists, get educated, rebuild the health of children. They were doubling in double digits every year for the improvement of the health of the children. And they improved the revenues by 30% a quarter. He was one example. All of that was just a part of doing business. It wasn't a program that said, let's do something good for the community. It had to be proven in earnings, margins, and cash flow as well. So that's one example.
And so you have 35 years experience and have all these stories put in this book.
I do.
And where can people buy the book?
Well, you can get it in the traditional ways, like online with Amazon. It's digital and print, or you can go to your local bookstore, which I recommend, and support them also. It's available everywhere.
Great. And then what are you doing at Business Climate 2011, and why are you excited to be here?
Mark Gunter wrote a blog about my book that stirred so many people up. He got more interaction than he'd ever had. And so I came here at Andrew's request because he wanted to create that same experience of us having a deep and different dialogue than the usual voices and speakers and are we doing good and who's doing what. And so I literally came here to stir up a different conversation, but grounded in real experience of doing it a very different way. And I'm loving it.
Well, I love what you're doing, and you are just a breath of fresh air. And